Hello everybody, Terry here. I wanted to tell you the story of my little Goya guitar, and this is also goes out to the folks who are looking at guitar lessons and getting into instruments and musicianship and things. This is was an important lesson for me in songwriting and in the muse, and so maybe you can learn something from it. I've had this guitar for a while. It's a very small student model guitar. It's called a Goya. It comes from Sweden, and the neck is a little bit smaller, and it's a nylon string guitar, or it's supposed to be a nylon string guitar. So years back when I was moving a lot of furniture in Los Angeles, one thing I did for a living for a long time, and when people move, they give away stuff. In this case, we lifted up the couch, and the guitar fell out from behind the couch. And I thought, wow, that's really lame. That's an acoustic guitar. It had 2 or 3 steel strings left on it, and the other strings had been ripped off. If you put steel strings on a nylon string guitar, it's not going to work. So this guy just didn't know what he was doing, or he didn't have any talent for music. And so he said, oh, that guitar is crap. It never worked. It's a terrible guitar. And somebody had smashed it on the wall. It's got a giant crack in it here. She's really been beat up, really been abused. There's a split in the top. There's a lot of dings and checks and a lot of problems with it. But it's not actually worth anything. It's probably only worth $5. And so I asked him, could I have that guitar? And he said, yeah, you can have it. I don't want it. I'm moving anyway. And I thought I would nail it to the wall and make a decoration out of it. So when I got it home, I didn't have a nylon string acoustic guitar at the time, so I thought, I should put some strings on it and see if I can just get any kind of sound out of it, because I can use it for recording tracks. So I put the nylon strings back on that were supposed to be on there, and I just couldn't believe my eyes and my ears, because it just... it just sings, and it's beautiful, and the action was perfect, and I couldn't believe it. And so on top of it, because it's a student guitar, it was a cheap model. At the time it was sold in the 60s. It's a Goya. It's from Sweden. And at the time it was sold in the 60s, it probably was only $50 or $75. It was a student model guitar, and they sold a lot of these kind of guitars in Europe. And because it was a student guitar, it doesn't have a button on the bottom. And this is the strangest part of the story. It doesn't have a little strap button, because it was just, I guess, for students who would just sit in class and play it. But because and I'd never seen a guitar without a button on it before, but because it doesn't have a button on it, it sits by itself right in the living room, right next to the couch and the chair. And it just sits there. It doesn't need a rack or anything. And every time you walk through, you pick it up, and something happens. Next time you walk through and pick it up, it's just magic. This guitar, it's And so over the course of the next 5 years of working with it sitting next to the couch every day, I ended up changing my writing style, but I ended up writing about 35 songs on it. And these were songs that I wouldn't have written on the steel string guitar, because when you have a steel string guitar, you tend to go in more the bigger kind of open kind of stuff, and more... You tend to play, you can play leads on a steel string guitar. You don't really play leads on a nylon string guitar. The nylon string guitar really lends itself towards more mellow kinds of grooves. You don't generally write. You tend to sit with it and do more of a... And I also at that time discovered minor seventh chords, and that really opened up a lot of really nice writing, because the minor seventh chords really lend themselves to the nylon string guitar. And so then I ended up starting to write things like Beautiful Boy. And what, a couple of others like Flying Home Tonight. A song like Night's Not the End. Just beautiful progressions just seem to come right out of this guitar. So I feel very lucky. It's still, today, is probably worth $5. It's not worth anything. Nobody would buy it because of the damage to it. But as far as my songwriting goes, the guitar is pretty priceless, because I've written so many songs on it now. I just filmed Mellow Music Moments, the episode for the all nylon string guitar. And on there you can hear a bunch of these songs that I've written. And so I hope you check that out. And I hope that you can find yourself an instrument that is a muse for you, that will open up channels and open up discovery and creativity. And I wish you a lot of peace and great music. And I thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and help me get to enough subscribers where we can go live. Thank you.